Hello student, in the previous class we have already discussed about the concept of cell, and we know cell is the basic fundamental unit of all the organisms, and all the biological activities are executed by this cell. But to execute all the biological activities, we need the energy. But what is the source of the energy? Yes, the main source of the energy is the food. And the process or the mode of taking food by the organisms and its utilization by the body is known as the nutrition. So today we are going to discuss about the nutrition and its types in the plants. So let's start. So here, this is the overview of the nutrition in the plants. Now see, we can divide the process of nutrition into several categories. The first one is the autotrophy. So in this particular case, the plant cell carries the chlorophyll, which helps to capture the sunlight, and in presence of other raw material, it's produce their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So in this particular type of nutrition, the organism can produce their own food. Okay, and the green plants are the example of this particular nutritional mode. And the next categories, in that case, these organisms cannot produce their own food. They actually depend upon other, or in other ways they derive their food materials. And this particular type of nutrition is known as heterotrophic nutrition. And we can divide it into four categories. The first one is the parasitic nutrition. Now in that case, an organism or the plant is depend upon another plant for their nutrients. And in the next case, insectivorous. Now in that particular type of plants, they actually feed on the insects. Next one, saprotrophic. They derive their own food, or they collect the nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. And the last one is the symbiotic. Now in that case, two organisms or two plants are mutualistic. They actually help to each other and derive their own foods. So this is the overview of the nutrition. Now we just have a look at each type of the nutrition. So in the next class, we will discuss about the autotrophic nutrition. And today we just discuss about the heterotrophic nutrition. So let's start. The first one is the parasitic mode of nutrition. Now, first of all, the term parasite and host is very important. A parasite is that particular plant which solely depend upon on the another plant for their nutrients. And the host is that plant which provides, or which is the source of the nutrients of the parasitic plant. So in that case, the parasite is benefited because they derive their nutrients from the host body. On the other hand, the host body or the host plant get harmed. So this type of nutritional mode is known as the parasitic nutrition, and a very good example is the cuscuta. Okay, but how this parasitic plant derive the nutrients? Because they have a particular special type of structure known as hostorium, which actually help them to penetrate the vascular bundle or the xylem or phloem of the host plant. Because these vascular bundle, that means xylem and phloem, are important for the transportation of water and the food material throughout the body of the plant. So if they penetrate the vascular bundle, they can easily draw the nutrients from the host plant. So this structure is very important and plays an important role for taking the nutrients from the host plants. Okay. Now we can divide the parasitic plants into two categories. First one is a totally parasitic plant and next one is the partially parasitic plant. Now cuscuta is the totally parasitic plant because they cannot produce their own food. They are solely dependent upon the host plant. Okay. So the next mode of nutrition is the insectivorous nutrition, and the very good example for that case is the pitcher plant. So here this type of plants actually show this type of nutrition to make up their deficiency of nitrogen in their body, and for that they feed on the insects, and to fulfill their purpose they modify their leaf into a pitcher-like structure. And see, the pitcher has the lid which is present at the top of the structure, and it can be closed and open, so it's flexible. And the next one is the slender body, which is covered with a hair. That means their inner surface is covered with the hair, and also it carries many types of digestive enzyme. So what happened? At first the insects are attracted by this structure, and when they reach this peripheral portion, they actually skid into this slender structure, and then the lid closed, and by the secretion of these digestive enzymes, the insect dissolves slowly into the slender body, and then the plant absorbs the nutrients. So in this way, the insectivorous plants takes their nutrients, or rather the nitrogenous nutrients, from the insects. Okay. So the next mode of nutrition is the saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Now basically this type of nutrition is followed by the bread mold or other type of fungi. So fungi is totally devoid of the chlorophyll, and in that case they actually derive their nutrients from the dead and decaying matter, and thus they play a vital role in the environment as a decomposer. They are important for the recycling of the nutrients into the nature. So the example here shown is the bread mold. Now see, if we see the structure, then there is a sac-like structure known as the sporangium, and the slender structure is known as the sporangiophore. And there is a root-like structure known as rhizoid. They actually release the digestive enzymes on the surface of the dead bodies, and these digestive enzymes gradually dissolve the organic matter of that particular organism, and then by the help of this root-like structure they actually absorb it. And their mode of reproduction is asexual, and here with the help of spores they actually fulfill their reproduction. So we just have a look on their mode of reproduction. So basically fungi are grown into the moist, warm, dark, swampy area. So here, after the maturation of the sporangium, now sporangium is a sac-like structure where the spores are stored. Now after the maturation, the sporangium just burst out and the spores release. And these spores actually conveyed by the air from one place to another place, and then when they deposit it on the moist, warm, swampy area, they actually grows into a new fungi. So in that way they actually complete their reproduction by asexual mode. Okay. So the next mode of nutrition is the symbiotic mode of nutrition. So in that particular case, both the organisms are benefited. So it's an association of two different organisms. Now in the first case, the lichen, it's a association of algae and fungi. And here both the algae and fungi are benefited. Now how? Now algae are important for the production of the food, and fungi provide the shelter to the algae. So by this mutualistic behavior, they can survive into the environment. So here both the algae and fungi is benefited. Now this type of association, this type of mutualism, and this type of nutrition is known as the symbiotic nutrition. Now another a very good example is the association between the leguminous plant and the rhizobium bacteria. So here, now see, this is the root nodules of the leguminous plants, and these root nodules are important for the habitat of the rhizobium. Now these rhizobium bacteria are important for fixation of the atmospheric nitrogen. And by the fixing this atmospheric nitrogen, they actually provide the nitrogen to the plants, which help them to their growth and development. Whereas the plant gives them the shelter. So here the rhizobium and the plants both are benefited. So this type of nutrition is known as the symbiotic nutrition, and this behavior or this relationship is known as the mutualism. Okay. So this is all about the mode of nutrition apart the autotrophic nutrition. Thank you.